Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Her Playbook Pod. We're really excited for this episode, so sit back and relax.
Today, we have two very, very special guests with us, Miss Lexy Denaburg and Rileigh Powers. They are not only our best friends, but our teammates, and it's been a wild ride, and we're so excited to have them on the podcast today, so thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, guys.
So we wanted to start with each of you explaining where you're from, how long you've been playing volleyball, and why did you pick UCLA, if anyone can start.
Okay. So my name's Rileigh. I'm from Oviedo, Florida. I've been playing volleyball for about, it's been forever, but probably since I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And then I started beach when I was probably 13 or 14, and then just fell in love with that over indoor. Yeah, I picked UCLA just because I wanted something different for 4 years. Well, now 5. But, yeah, I wanted something different. I've lived in Florida basically my whole life, and I just wanted to experience something new. And, UCLA is such a good academic school.
Yeah.
The beach volleyball is legendary there, so that was kind of my main reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Lex?
Yeah, I started playing when I was probably 10 or 11. I'm from Merritt Island, Florida, which is a very small town in Florida. And I chose UCLA just because I think when I got here, it felt so right to be here. And I remember I fell in love with the coaching staff. The campus is unreal, so pretty. And obviously I think the biggest thing is I wanted to go to a program that was going to make me better.
Yeah.
And then I ended up having the best teammates ever and having the best friends, so it all worked out.
I love when people say that, when it's you get on campus and you feel it. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
So you guys obviously are both from Florida, and I remember the first time I saw you guys, it was at a tournament in Hermosa Beach, and I'm older than you, but I was so scared of you, and I remember you guys were committed at the time.
Yeah.
And I was too scared to go up and talk to you because they're literally killers on the
Yeah.
court. They were the best in the youth. They would come from Florida and show up to the tournament, kick everyone's butt, and then
Yeah.
leave. They would just
Yeah.
drop the mic. So I guess my question for you guys is, what was it like going into college, having someone that you already knew very, really well? And did that give you some sort of comfort going into college?
Yeah, I think that honestly made going to college a lot easier, especially because when I got here my freshman year, I just had so much culture shock, and it was so different for me. So definitely having her at the beginning was just so nice. But also we had Dev in C-Sesh summer, so it was we kind of immediately just all did everything together, which just made it so easy. And then obviously Rye, I knew her from before, but it also kind of felt that way with Dev. We literally just did everything together. So yeah, it was super easy.
Yeah, for sure. It was just super comforting, having her just going across the country, not being alone. We were already so close before, just having that sense of comfort when you're coming to somewhere completely new.
Yeah.
And also, Lexy said, just having Devon, we met her on our official and literally instantly clicked.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing. But after that, we were just, did everything together. Me and Devon were roommates. For C-Sesh. And Lexy lived literally a floor above us. So we were together all the time. And yeah, definitely was super comfortable coming in and stuff. So yeah.
So same with freshman year. You come from high school where it's I would say looking back, it's a pretty basic schedule of what you do. You go to school, you practice, and you're done. But you get to college and being a collegiate athlete, it's you wake up. Our weights in freshman year were 6, and it's you go to weights, you go to practice, you go meet with your coaches, you do film, you do team meetings. How did you both adjust to that, and what was the hardest part of becoming a college athlete?
Yeah, it was definitely an adjustment period at first. Just I feel in high school, you're not training near as much. You have school all day, and then you have practice 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So just, trying to find a balance. I think for me, I'm super unorganized. And I learned that the hard way, like right when I got to college. I was like really struggling with classes, trying to balance school and like trying to maintain like a social relationship with people. So for me, like I just think like writing everything down, like having a schedule, doing that, and you'll get acclimated with time. Just the more time you do it, the more you get used to it. But I think just like give yourself grace. It's like an adjustment period for sure.
Totally.
Yeah, I feel like kind of similar. Like the adjustment period was tough, but I remember someone saying like once you are just like in it and like once you've done it over time, you just kind of get used to what it is. And like obviously now 5 years later, like that life feels so natural to us.
Right.
And I feel like it'll be hard to like adjust out of it. But for me, I think the hardest thing about becoming a college athlete was like being away from my family like a lot, just because they mean everything to me, and like that was just super, super hard. But obviously it's like found a new family, and just being around people every day that I like can grow with and like have laughs with and stuff was just like made it a lot easier.
Yeah, I think throughout the years, it's been so cool to see like all of us kind of like grow into our leadership roles on the team. And I think we all have very like different and unique roles. Like Rileigh is always the one that's like in the dance circle, like you have to look at Rileigh because like you'll literally just die laughing. And you just bring so much energy and like lightness to the team, which is so special. And then Lexy obviously is one of the biggest leaders on our team. And I think like we look at Lexy for like inspiration, like in the team circles, she's the one that's getting our minds right and firing us up. So yeah, I mean, it's just been amazing to see all of us come to that point. You know?
For those who don't know who Lexy is, she is not only like a phenomenal athlete, but like such a crucial part of like beach volleyball. And she, as a freshman, was playing in the twos, which is like one of the highest positions you can play for our sport. And I think we were all like laughing about it at breakfast the other day, because it's like thinking of you as like a younger person, just because your leadership style is so like, you made such an impact immediately. And like when we were thinking of like you as a younger person, we like never really got to talk about it because it was so natural. But like, what was it like as a younger person having to take that kind of leadership role?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I think for me, I'd always kind of just like not kept to myself, but like especially in the weight room, like that was where I just felt very comfortable, like being myself and just like doing whatever I do and like not being shy about it. And I think like when it came to like their workouts or like practice, I think that's kind of how like I expressed like my true like self, just because it like that just comes really like easy to me.
You can't hide that,
but I think especially when I was younger, I feel like I do remember being in like a younger role, like especially like when we had all the older players like Savvy and like all of them on the team. I very much felt like I was like someone who was learning from them, and I feel like, I don't know, I was just always watching them and stuff, and I feel like over time, I guess it just, I don't know, like I feel like that's just something that just always felt like super comfortable to me.
Like I can imagine it, like it was almost like your freshman year. It was like you were just like learning everything. And then like COVID hits and it's like we come back, and I think because like I'm making an assumption, but I feel like it's right. Like because everything got like taken from us in a sense, it felt like when like we all came back, it was like we were so much more like advanced and mature because like our freshman year was gone. Like we couldn't make like those, I mean, we still made mistakes, but it wasn't like the same. We couldn't blame everything because you were a freshman, even though we were freshmen. So I feel like it's so cool because I can see it now of like, she's a freshman, but like she was learning everything from Savvy, and like even like Lindsay, like you played with Lindsay and like you were working with these older girls so much because she was also on the higher court. And then you come back as a sophomore and it's like now you're officially like a leader, and it was like your turn to almost like take that control, which I thought was really cool to see.
Yeah. And then coming back from COVID, Rileigh was my partner. Throwback. It was so much fun. Yeah, you were like literally one of the best partners ever. And I think from anyone that watches you, like you just like lift everyone up around you, which is a really great characteristic to have, especially when there's only, of course, especially when there's two people on the court. Like, it's so important to be a good teammate, and I think you're the perfect example of that. So my question for you is, what advice do you give to someone who is struggling with a teammate or is looking to try to lift up their partner, and what does it look like to be a good partner?
Yeah. You know, I feel like being a good teammate is something that's probably like the most important part of beach volleyball, because, you know, it's you and your partner, and when your partner's off, you can feel their energy.
Yeah.
And it's easy to like feel that and get down on yourself. So I think just like staying positive, like reinforcing like your partner, like making sure they know how good they are and how they should be here just as much as you should. You know, I think also, like for me, why I try to be such a good partner is because I've played with people in the past where it's like really hard, you know, like you can feel like negative energy. And I think for me, that's something I never want someone to feel, which is why I really try to, you know, whoever I'm playing with, like make them feel like great about themselves, about their play, and just like have fun. That's what it's all about, you know, like we play the sport to have fun. And that's one of the most important parts. So
Definitely.
Yeah, you're so good at that. I got to play with you as well freshman year. And our last game before COVID started, I had like the worst matches of my life. Like we were at USC, and I like vividly remember it was like nothing could go my way.
No,
like,
we were both in the weeds. I remember that. That was like so funny.
But you were just like making me laugh the whole time, and it's like funny because like that was how we ended like the whole season. And so like the fact that we could just like look back and laugh, I love.
Yeah.
So we just celebrated our senior day, and the night before and the day of, like we were all really emotional about like this chapter kind of like coming to a close. And even though we have a couple weeks left, like it's starting to close. And I feel like senior day was like the realization for me that like it is coming to an end. How do you think you both are feeling about it? And like, what's the process of like, I don't know, like processing it, I guess. Yeah.
No, I feel like obviously we've talked about it so much, and I feel like it is hard. And even we've said like one of the hardest things for us is like just leaving the group of girls that we get to see every single day. Like I think that's so hard. I feel like a part of me is just so grateful for the COVID year, because if I graduated last year, I would like be feeling it much more. So I think a part of me is ready for the next stage of life, but I think it's just hard. I know for me, I'm just trying to be grateful, and it's just so happy that I have had like 5 years, such amazing years with a great culture and teammates that I can literally look back on and say like I have best friends for life. I feel like I'm just trying to be as present as possible, because processing it, like when I think about it too much, I start crying.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I've been like pushing it off.
Yeah, you know, it's like definitely bittersweet. Just leaving such an amazing group is going to be so hard. Everyone on our team, like all 20 of the girls we have, are just so special. And I truly felt like the past 5 years we've been here, like every team that I've been on has just been so special. The team culture's been so good, and getting to surround yourself with just an amazing group of girls every day is just something that I've loved. And, you know, it's just definitely really, really sad.
I know. It's been already such an emotional week, and yesterday with it being senior day, like us playing at home for the last time, like that was just crazy in itself, and having all of our families there was special. But I guess my question for moving on is, Lexy, how are you going to carry your leadership into the things that you do next?
Yeah, I think I want to continue to inspire other people, and that's obviously something that I'm still thinking about. Obviously, I want to keep playing after, so I feel like that's something that I just love to do, and it's my biggest passion, and I just want to keep doing that. But I also want to find something else to do that just is more than volleyball, and that I can inspire other people with, just because like we're more than players and we're more than athletes. So I think that's a really important part of life, and I know I can't play forever, so yeah.
Okay, Rileigh, you're not only leaving college, but you're also not going to be playing volleyball anymore. How do you, like, have you planned on, like, how you're going to make that big change in your life and, like, how you're going to feel about it? Or do you know, can you, like, expect what feelings you're going to be having?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be bittersweet, you know, like, dedicating, like, 10 plus years to a sport, and then all of a sudden one day it's just like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just super tough, but I've definitely, like, want to, like, keep playing for fun and just have volleyball in my life still.
Yeah.
I think for me, I have so many other hobbies that I really, really enjoy that, like, the past 5 years I haven't really gotten haven't gotten to indulge in, which I'm really looking forward to balancing volleyball with, like, other stuff I like doing. But I think it'll be, like, for me, really, really hard in, like, September when I see everyone come back and they're doing, like, their media day and just, like, like, funny videos that UCLA will post, like, just about, like, being at Mapes or all that stuff. I think that will, like, hit me more, like, when season rolls around next year and it's like, man, like, not being a part of that team with, like, 20 amazing people will definitely be tough. So we'll see.
I think that's something that you have done so well at, is, like, and something that if I was leaving my sport, like, or if anybody was leaving their sport, I think that they should do, is, like, you made, like, such amazing hobbies and other passions before this time period was coming up, because I couldn't imagine, like, how stressful it would be for you to be, like, about to leave everything and then being like, well, what do I like to do? And I feel like if there's anything that, like, if people are leaving their sport, if you could just, like, make hobbies like you have and, like, find what else besides your sport you, like, really enjoy, because that's still something I'm figuring out. And I feel like nobody really thinks about that until they're in your position and it's like, oh my God, well, what am I going to do now?
100%. It's like also hard to, like, even have other hobbies, like, when you're playing the sport too. So, like, I struggled with that too. Like, at the beginning, like, I felt like I didn't have time to do anything else because you're dedicating it to a sport. So I feel like a lot of athletes do go through that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you two are going to go down completely different paths after college, but in college you've had pretty similar experiences with being on the same team, obviously, and playing, and also being roommates. And I guess my question is, what have you learned from being a student athlete at UCLA, and what are you going to take with you into the next chapter of life?
I think a lot of it, something I've learned that Ms. Val actually told me is, like, take everything that you've learned in your sport and, like, bring it into the workforce and like bring it into the business world, or bring it into any other facet of life that doesn't apply to sports, because we learn so much in sports. Like we learn to be on way early, not just on time, but early. Like, if our practice is 8, I'm bugging to get there at 7:45. You know? I think just overall work ethic. I think the way we react to the smallest things, like if a ref makes a bad call, like if your boss says something you don't like, how are you going to react to that?
So true.
I think there's just so many things that sport teaches you in regards to, like, your character that you can bring into your life in general. I think just to narrow it down to one, I guess, is just always finding a way to be better in something. It doesn't even have to be in regards to, like, working out or in your sport, but I think just going into the work world, like, how can you make the people around you better? How can you make yourself better and make an impact and be selfless? I think those are all super important traits that sport teaches us.
Yeah, I feel like sports just, like, there's so many lessons to be learned, and, like, over the past 5 years, it's just, like, crazy how much we've all learned, you know, just playing an amazing sport. But for me, something that I'm going to continue to carry is, I feel like I learned how to show up to something even when, you know, you might be having a bad day, you don't want to, but, like, showing up and giving your best is something that can carry on with you through, like, many other aspects of life. Which I feel like a lot of people who don't play sports don't understand that, because, like, if you're having a bad day, like, the night before you have like a test you're studying until 3 a.m. and then you got to go to weights at 8, and then you got practice at 11, and then you got meetings, class, all that.
Yep.
So I think that's just one thing that I'm going to carry with me. Obviously, there's so many more, like she already touched on, you know, like work ethic, persevering through stuff like that. But yeah, that's the main thing for me.
I have another question. Maybe we can make this the final question. But we obviously come from like a group of 20 best friends. Like the second you get into college, you have like a set of 20 to 25 girls that like you can pretty much go to like with whatever you need. And also like they kind of have to be your friend. Like you don't have to go find them. Like there aren't many people that I had to go out and find to be my friend. I had 20 like sitting in my lap. Do you like, what do you think it's going to look like? And like, is it almost like, cause I'm scared. Like, is it like, how do you feel about like now having to like almost like find a new friend group and like find people who you connect with?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. I mean, I think it's going to be a really hard adjustment having like 20 people and then that you have to go to like practice and do all that stuff every day, which is awesome because you kind of have like built-in time to hang out.
Yeah.
And then when you start a job and move on with life, you have to be like a lot more intentional. With making plans with people, and I guess like just being more outgoing, which is you know, like tough just never being in that position. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be trying to navigate after.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm scared too, Dev. I think it's gonna be hard. Like I think I'm gonna have to put myself in a really uncomfortable situations, and I think I'm gonna have to be the one that goes up to people and like
I know,
starts the conversation, because I'm not the person that normally does that. Like if you don't really text me, I probably won't text you, you know? So it's like I think I'm gonna have to be the one that even like continues our like relationships we have now, you know? Like we're all gonna be in different areas. So I think it definitely is gonna be hard, but something will come from it. It's something to work on.
It's hard. I feel like we got so lucky too. Like we talk about this all the time. Like we got so lucky with the class we had, and especially like you getting added to it. Like we like have such deep relationships, and I'm almost like, man, like who am I going to talk to that like gets that? Like we've learned each other now for 5 years, and like we went from freshman year like making all these mistakes, like having the most embarrassing stories, and then like seeing into like the like real women like we've become, and like those people who we meet like aren't gonna get that. They're gonna see like the new version of ourselves. I'm like thinking about putting myself on like the Bumble.
like the friend Bumble. No, I've actually thought about that too.
I think I'm gonna
maybe we should make our accounts after this.
We might have to.
That's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's go on to our last little section, the things we wish we knew about leaving college edition. So you want to start us off?
Yes, I do. What is the most scary part of leaving college?
I think for me, just the part of not knowing. I feel like when you go to college, you know everything, having a set schedule every day. You know exactly what your day's gonna be. And then I guess like for me, like I'm trying to find a job right now, and I'm in the interviewing process, and it's like you don't know where you're gonna end up, like what kind of job you're gonna land, like who's gonna hire you, stuff like that. So for me, the not knowing part is super scary, but it's also really exciting because it's like new opportunities that are coming up. So,
Totally.
Taxes, bro.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. Well, but no. Kind of what Rileigh was saying. I feel like in college you have such a routine, and you have a schedule that you have every single day. And obviously when you leave college, you're going to find a job, you're trying to make money, trying to make a living for pay rent, to live in a house. So I think especially for me, because beach volleyball isn't that like established, I think just navigating that and how I can give 100% to volleyball and still be able to make money, you know? So I think that's one of them.
Okay, next question. What are you guys looking forward to doing in real life that you weren't really able to do as student athletes?
Honestly, like travel more and probably see my family a lot more. Like I'm so excited for that. Like I'm so excited to just be able to fly to a football game on like a Saturday, or like go watch Mason, or go see the little birdie, or you know, just like all of that stuff that you're not really like tied down, and you can just go places if you want.
So
you know?
true. I think for me, just like not feeling like stressed out. Like sometimes on the weekend, I'll like go surf and like do all this stuff, and then I'll be like, oh God, like I probably shouldn't have done that. Like,
now I'm exhausted.
I'm tired. Like, so I think just being able to like go surf, go hike, travel, like do all that stuff and not like feel guilty. I'm like really excited for that.